The silence broke with the sound of shattered glass. A tray had slipped from trembling hands, scattering cups across the marble floor of the luxury hotel lobby. Gasps rippled through the guests, and all eyes turned, not to the crystal chandeliers or the expensive decor, but to the woman on her knees, frantically gathering the broken pieces before anyone tripped. Her name was Maria Alvarez. To the world, she was just another cleaner in a faded uniform. To her children waiting at home, she was everything. But before she could finish, a pair of glossy black shoes stopped inches from her face. Slowly, she looked up, into the cold, merciless eyes of Richard Hale, the CEO himself. His lips curved into a smirk, the kind that cut deeper than any blade. Pathetic, he muttered loud enough for everyone to hear, his voice dripping with disdain. This is why people like you don't belong in places like this. The crowd chuckled nervously, eager not to anger the powerful man. Maria's heart pounded. Humiliation burned her cheeks. She wanted to disappear, but she stayed frozen, her hands bleeding from the shards of glass. Richard straightened his suit, his arrogance towering over her. Cleaners are replaceable, he added cruelly. One mistake, and you're out. Maria blinked back tears, whispering, I'm sorry, sir, it won't happen again. But Richard wasn't done. He wanted her shame to be a spectacle. Everyone, look closely, he called out to the lobby. This is what failure looks like. Learn from it. The guests shifted uncomfortably. Some pitied her, others stayed silent. And then, the glass doors of the lobby opened. A shadow stretched across the floor. Someone was walking in, someone whose presence would silence the laughter, still the arrogance, and turn the CEO's smirk into regret he would carry for the rest of his life. The man was tall, broad-shouldered, with the calm authority of someone who had faced storms greater than this polished room could ever hold. His uniform was neat but understated. His eyes, however, were sharp, carrying the weight of battles fought, not on corporate stages, but in the name of people who could never repay him. This was Captain Daniel Alvarez, Maria's husband. A decorated military officer, now quietly working as a strategist for national security. Few knew his name, but those who did respected him deeply. He paused at the sight of his wife kneeling on the floor, bleeding, humiliated. His jaw tightened. Maria, he said softly. She looked up, and relief washed over her face. Richard, irritated at the interruption, barked, and who are you supposed to be? Another nobody. The guests stiffened. Some recognized the uniform. A murmur swept across the lobby. But Richard was blind in his arrogance. Daniel walked forward slowly, his presence commanding silence. He knelt beside his wife, gently taking the shards from her trembling hands. You're hurt, he whispered, ignoring the crowd. He wrapped a handkerchief around her cut. His gentleness was a sharp contrast to Richard's cruelty. Then he stood, his tall frame now eye-level with the CEO. His voice was calm, but carried a weight that silenced the entire hall. I am her husband, Daniel said. And unlike you, I see her worth. Richard scoffed. Worth? She's a cleaner. A woman paid to scrub floors. Do you expect me to treat her as an equal? Daniel's jaw flexed, but his tone remained steady. You see a cleaner. I see the mother of my children. The woman who sacrificed everything so I could serve this country. The woman who works tirelessly so our family can live with dignity. The crowd grew restless. Some lowered their heads in shame. Daniel took a step closer. You mock her because she's on her knees cleaning your mess. But I've seen generals kneel to comfort dying soldiers. I've seen the strongest men fall to their knees in prayer. Being on the floor does not make someone less. It often makes them stronger than you'll ever be. A hush fell. The arrogance in Richard's face faltered, but pride kept him upright. Listen, soldier, Richard sneered. This is business. In my world, people like her are invisible. That's reality. Daniel leaned in, his eyes locked on the CEO's. Then maybe your world is broken. At that moment, an older man entered the lobby, a board chairman of the hotel chain. His eyes caught Daniel, and he froze. Then a smile spread across his face. Captain Alvarez, he exclaimed warmly, striding over. What an honor. I didn't know you were in town. The crowd gasped. Richard blinked in shock. You know him? The chairman laughed. Know him? This man saved lives overseas. His strategic counsel has protected assets worth more than this entire hotel chain. If anything, we should be thanking his family for their sacrifices. He turned to Maria. And this must be your wife. You should be proud, Mrs. Alvarez. Your strength allows him to serve. Maria's eyes welled with tears. For the first time that day, she felt seen, not as a cleaner, but as a human being. Richard's face drained of color. The arrogance crumbled. He stammered, I didn't realize. Daniel's gaze didn't soften. That's the problem. People like you never realize until it's too late. The chairman's face hardened. Richard, I heard enough. This behavior is unacceptable. A leader who humiliates his staff doesn't deserve their loyalty, or this position. Murmurs swept through the crowd. Some applauded softly. Richard's empire of pride shattered in that moment. He bowed his head, his power reduced to dust in front of the very people he sought to impress. Daniel placed an arm around Maria. Come on, he whispered. You don't need to stay here any longer. But Maria hesitated. She looked around at the staff, the cleaners, receptionists, waiters, who were watching with hope in their eyes. She realized this wasn't just about her. She stepped forward, her voice shaking but strong. We don't ask for riches. We don't ask for glory. We only ask for respect. If you cannot see the humanity in the ones who clean your floors, then no amount of success will ever make you truly rich. The room erupted in quiet applause. Even the guests who moments ago had looked away now clapped, ashamed of their silence. In the weeks that followed, the board removed Richard as CEO. His cruelty had cost him his empire. In his place, the company promoted leaders who valued kindness as much as profit. Maria continued her work, but things were different now. Staff were treated with dignity. Guests offered smiles instead of silence. And Maria's children, when they heard the story, hugged their mother tighter than ever before. As for Daniel, he often told his children, your mother is braver than any soldier. She fights battles every day, with humility, with strength, and with love. And in the heart of every employee who had witnessed that day, one truth remained: respect is the greatest currency. Without it, even the richest man is poor. This story reminds us that kindness and respect transcend status. Wealth and power mean nothing if we cannot see the humanity in others. Sometimes, the strongest people are the ones we overlook every day, and it only takes one moment to open our eyes and change everything.